how are you? My name's Samantha. This is my place on the internet where I talk about all the crafty things I've been doing in the last week. I do unfortunately have to start off with a negative thing. I will keep it very, very brief. I've tried recording this a couple of times and honestly I've been swithering whether or not to talk about it at all. It's not craft related. It is after my last video last week. Two things happened that may or may not be related. I can't prove they were related. It's just an awfully big coincidence. So the first thing that happened after last week, oh, that light is really bright. I'm sorry, I'm recording in the middle of the day. The first thing that happened after last week was I received my first negative comment ever from any social media platform that I have ever been on over many, many, many years. I have never received a negative comment. And this comment was so nasty that YouTube, that I have set on the easiest, lowest settings because I don't want people getting withheld for no reason, YouTube deemed it on those settings to be that bad that it wouldn't publish it. So, good job. It also happens to be, I mean, that comment, I'm not going to tell you what the comment was, but it clearly came from a place of stupidity and lack of education. It also happens to be a day or two after that I get informed that somebody has watched my video that I don't know, but they know me and they know my ex, my kid's dad. Sorry, Lilith's lounging around in here. They know my kid's dad. And I'm not allowed to know who this person is because apparently their privacy is sacred, whereas my space is not, because reasons, I don't know. Yeah, this person has run back to my ex complaining, saying that I've been saying awful things about him online, which is the only thing I'm going to say about it is it's really sad, really pathetic. You need to grow up. So yeah, that left me very upset. It caused needless arguments. I say I can't prove the two things are related. Bit of a coincidence though. Right. That is 2.5 minutes that I have wasted on that nonsense. So let's have some happy news. I've got a house. After last week, I went through to view a house. I think I'd said last week I had recorded early because I was going away that day to view a house. I viewed 2 houses last week. The first one, that fell through immediately. The second one, I've got the house. So I'm going to be moving. I've actually found somewhere. I'm not going to be homeless. My children are not going to be homeless. It's great. It's not too far away. It's, depending on traffic, it's between maybe an hour and 10 minutes and an hour and a half away from here. So it's not terrible. It could be a lot worse. I mean, it could be better, obviously, but for 6 months I've been looking for a house and I really, really thought I was going to end up having to be homeless and get rid of my dog. And yeah, I'm so happy I've got somewhere. It's in a town called Loughborough and it's much smaller than here, which is great. At the minute I live in Wolverhampton, anyone that doesn't know. And Wolverhampton, according to Google, has a population of around 262,000 and Loughborough has a population of around 60,000. So just by the lack of people, it's going to be so much better for my mental health. It's going to be so much better for the kids. The schools are a lot smaller. The schools in the area have all got really good Ofsted reports. I think Ofsted might just be a UK thing. It's like a governing body for educational places. Sorry, Lilith is drinking her water. Lil, can you drink a little bit quieter? Yes, I know. So yeah, we have a house. We're happy. She's happy for me to have the dog there. She actually doesn't live in this country. She's from this country, but she works abroad, and that's why she rents a house out. And she said that I can do what I like with it. I can decorate it how I like. So it's going to be fantastic. So I'm going to move in sometime in the next couple of weeks. I just need to, I'm waiting on dates coming. Lily, what are you doing? I'm waiting on dates coming back for schools and things like that, because obviously I don't want the kids to miss schools. Oh my god, give me a second. Okay, I'm back. She'd knocked something over and was nosing it. It was a plastic thing, so it was being very, very noisy. So yeah, I am super happy. Oh, hello, are you coming up? I'm super, super, super happy. I'm going to try and keep my videos regular. It just means that the crafting might be a little bit minimal over the next couple of weeks. Yeah. So, well, and it's not quite over yet, but we're getting there. We are absolutely getting there. And yeah, I'll have a much nicer space for recording. Might even get dressed, you know. It could happen. What do you think, Lil? Are you excited? This is her excited face. Right, so now we are 6 minutes in. We've had some bad stuff, we've had some good stuff. Let's have some crafty stuff. I have 2 finished objects. I haven't really worked on very much this week because I've been doing a lot of just admin stuff. Driving back and forth to different places. Obviously I went through to view the house as well, and I've been doing a lot of just trying to sort out schools and trying to sort out all the different things that you have to change when you move house, which, oh my goodness, you don't realise how much there is until you start listing it, and then it's just like, but I have my list. All I have to do is work through the list and it will be fine. I do have a couple of finishes though. The first one is this. This is an emotional support chicken. This was on yesterday's Stitcher Library. So if you want to know all the details on this one, if you go back and watch yesterday's Stitcher Library. Well, are you going to lie down or sit down? No. This has already been claimed by the child. He looks a little bit like Elvis. I did this bit wrong because I didn't look at the pattern. But yep, all the stuff on this is yesterday. The other one that I have is, if you remember, I did like a mini yarn haul not too long ago. And this is how much I have left of this. And it is this yarn. It is Yarnsmith Daydream Aran. The shade is 1C010. There we go, just there. I think it is new-ish. I'm not sure. I've not used it before. This is the first time I've used it. So it is 100 grams, 225 meters, 246 yards, Aran weight, 70% acrylic, 30% cotton. And it says a 5mm hook or needle. It can be washed in the washing machine, it can be dried, and it can go in a tumble dryer. So, Yarnsmith Aran. And I just wanted something nice, quick. Let's put that on there. Nice and quick and easy. So I made a V-stitch cowl. And you can see, I'm not used to this recording in the daytime thing. This like sunlight business is really messing with the colours. So I just did a nice plain V-stitch cowl. I did a little border top and bottom with just front post, back posts. And it is just, here we go. And then when it gets too cold, you can put it up here. I can't because my glasses get in the way, but it's just a nice little size. This will be getting photographed and put in the shop. It's lovely. It's lightweight because it's got the 30% cotton in it. It makes it really, really lightweight to wear. And it's very, let's see if I can show you. The yarn was lovely to use. When I first saw it, I was a little bit concerned. Let's see, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. See, it's quite loosely plied. So I was a little bit concerned that it might start sort of, you can't really see that, can you? So if I hide my face, no, can you see it kind of unraveling there? I was a little bit concerned because it doesn't take that much twist to get it to unravel, and usually stuff like that is a bit of a pain to work with, which is why I went for the V-stitch, because you're not putting your hook into a stitch, if you know what I mean, because a V-stitch is just like stacking these doubles on top of each other, and I can't even see where the join is. I can't see where the join is for the moving up the rows. So I decided to do, there we go. I decided to do a V-stitch so that I wouldn't be putting the hook into a small stitch like in the top of a double crochet or anything like that. And yeah, it's worked up really nicely. It's airy, it's light, it scrunches down nicely without feeling too bulky. Pretty happy with that. And say the yarn wasn't, it does help that I was using a V-stitch, but the yarn didn't split on me at all for any of the stitches that I was doing, and didn't have any issues with it. There were no breaks in the ball. There were, yeah, I would recommend this. It comes in a few different colours, but I decided to go with just a grey and white. And it just, the colours are, I don't know if you could see, but it's got like the white running through everything, and then just the grey kind of fades, and it does actually fade. It doesn't, it's not harsh colour changes. I've done it again, look. Alright, so it's not harsh colour changes in it. It does fade from one to the other. So yeah, that yarn was really, really nice. I used my 5mm Omni hook, the acrylic one, because it was still sitting on the table, because I had been using it for my Brita pullover, which I showed yesterday in Stitcher Library. And yeah, so this is going to go in my little Aran scrap pile, and we'll probably end up in a blanket at some point, because that's what I seem to do, is collect all my scraps and then turn them into magic knot balls and then make blankets from them. The dog needs a new blanket because she's managed to put a big gaping hole in hers. Because what she's done is she's got one of these like, it's like a nylon type bone. It's meant to be indestructible chewing for big dogs, and because she does like to chew things and she has got quite strong jaws, I got her one of these indestructible things, so she's eaten like half of it. It's lasted longer than most toys, but she takes it into her bed with her and then she buries it. Because if you don't know, she's a rescue. So when I first got her, she used to bury absolutely everything. She would bury her food, bury her water. I can't give her wet food because we're slowly getting back onto giving her wet food again. But before I couldn't give her wet food because she was always trying to bury it. She was trying to bury her water. And she still does it with her toys. She buries them in her blankets. And then when she's trying to dig them out, she's put a hole in her blanket. So I've mended it for the moment, but it's a bit scruffy anyway. She's had it for a while. And it was one that I'd already had for a couple of years. So yeah, dog might be due for a new blanket. I'll just use up my scraps and get her a new blanket. And I think that's it for the yarny stuff. I've done maybe a couple of rows on the scrap blanket that I'm doing, the 4-ply one. I haven't worked on my sock at all. I've done a bit on my Stitcher Library stuff, because I'm doing 2 garment projects for that. And apart from that, it's been stitching. So we have the cursed ravens. I've been working down here doing this bit. And I think normally I do my cross stitch on a rotation. I have 4 projects that I rotate weekly, usually. But last week, I didn't get any stitching done on this at all. And that's happened a few times, not necessarily just with this project, but in general, if I've been super busy during the week, I don't always get a chance to stitch on something. That's just how it works out sometimes. And I didn't really get much of a chance to stitch on this. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this out for another week and see how much stitching I get done on it. I might even, it does have quite a bit of stitching left, but I might even just leave this out and finish it and just keep stitching on it till it's done, because it's one colour. You see the colours on there. I've shown this a few times before. See, it's all purples and blues. I'll leave the link for the pattern down below. Anything that I talk about, I'll leave links for patterns down below. But yeah, I think I'm debating. I think I might just leave this out and just stitch monogamously on this until it's finished, because all my projects at the minute, all my stitching projects are quite big. Lilith, what are you doing? She's trying to take her bone out of her bed, but from the outside. Lilith, what are you doing? Honestly, she's such a clever dog sometimes, and then other times she doesn't have 2 brain cells to rub together. What are you up to? Come here. Ew. Right, here we go. She's going to sit on my lap now. Okay. Nobody wants to see your bum. Go on, get your face in. Oh. Yes. Oh, she's very much coming to like, I need the hand back. She's finished her season now, so she's getting back to grips with just acting like a normal dog again, which is nice. Oh. And the weather's still good, so we've been going out and doing the outside thing that I'm not going to say, because she'll be like, ooh, Lilith, not ladylike. Sorry. Dog has no shame. No. If you're going to do that, you have to go over there and do it. She doesn't care. Right. I think I only have one more thing to show you. So I will put a link for this down below. There is a shop on Etsy. I'm just going to turn the camera a little bit. There's a shop on Etsy called, I think it's the Unravelled Thread. Oh, look at the state of this. I think it's called the Unravelled Thread or something. Oh, we're a bit high. And they are selling bundles of embroidery patterns. Now, they have small bundles where it's just like all the bookish ones or all the Christmas ones and things like that. So you can buy smaller bundles, you can buy the patterns individually, but they also have a thing where you can buy every pattern in the shop. And the way that it's done is it's linked through to, I think it's like a Google Doc or something. So whenever they add new patterns, you'll get them as well. And it was ridiculously cheap. I think it was only like a tenner, maybe £10-ish, £9 something. Yeah, it wasn't a lot at all, and there are loads and loads of patterns on there. So I've started this one. Do I have the original rather than showing you this? Yes, I do, and it is the Unravelled Threads. So this is the pattern. There's the Unravelled Threads. She gives you all the different things for different hoop sizes, and I'm showing you this and realising it's still backwards. So this is about adjusting the settings. It tells you how to adjust the settings to get it to fit into different hoop sizes. It's meant to fit in a 5-inch hoop. This is a 6-inch hoop. I've decided to do a border around it, which is what this is, because I don't have any 5-inch hoops. So I'm doing a, I know it doesn't look very straight at the minute, but once I'm going to do a whip stitch around it, and that should straighten it up. And then I'm going to paint these. I'm just going to do the outline in the black, and then I'm going to paint them. And what I'm using for the outline is this. This is pearl cotton, size 8. Can we see that? Are we going to focus? There we go. So see, it's quite fine. Don't know what's going on with my camera today. Pearl cotton, size 8, DMC 310. Lilith. DMC 310, which is just black. You can use whatever you like for these. So I don't know what colour to do the ghost yet. I'm going to fill in, there's like the little bats, and I'm going to fill them in just the black cotton. The ghosties I'm going to paint, and I don't know whether to do them in lots of different colours and have a little rainbow of ghosts, or... Lilith! Stop, I'm trying to talk. I'm nearly done. If you've not been here before, Lilith is not a fan of me talking to people who are not her. So, yeah. The fabric I'm using for this is just some cotton, double layered. And yeah. I just need to decide on a colour scheme while I'm doing the rest of the outlines of all the ghosties. It's just a nice... When I'm doing cross stitch, you have to count, you have to think about it. If you're doing crochet and knitting, depending on what you're doing, you sometimes have to think about it. I just wanted something I didn't have to count or think about or do anything to, apart from just little stitches. I'm doing, these are all, it's all just back stitch at the minute. So this is going to be whipped back stitch. And yeah, I'm going to paint it just with some normal acrylics, I think, because I've done that before. I used to do a lot of embroidery, and I used to do a lot of mixed media, and I've not done any for ages, and I've had a bit of an itch to do some embroidery. So there we go. And then it was just great that came up, that shop came up with all the tons of embroidery patterns. It's got lots of like different types of stuff, some really nice dragon ones, which was the original reason why I went to the shop, because they had you know when you first go on Etsy and it has like the recommendations on your front page, one of the recommendations for me was this dragon pattern, so I went to the shop through the dragon pattern. What else have I done this week? I think that's it for making stuff. So mostly this week I have just been trying to sort out house stuff. It's a lot, but once it's done, it's done. I'm currently trying to work out how I'm going to manage to pack and move an entire house by myself. I need to learn to drive a van because I don't have anybody else to do it for me. Because my boyfriend lives like an hour and a half away, so it's not really very feasible for him, and he's never driven a van before in his life anyway, so he's in the same boat as me. My ex, on the other hand, has been driving vans for like, I don't know, nearly 30 years, but of course he won't drive a van for me either, for whatever reason. He will not drive a van. So I'm trying to look into getting a removal company to do it, but they're really expensive. I've got quoted, so it's maybe hour and 10 minutes, hour and 15 minutes driving, unless there's traffic. And at rush hour, it's like an hour and a half. and they quoted me £500 to move my stuff. I was like, nah. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna have to learn to drive a van, which I'm absolutely terrified of. I'm not the most confident of drivers. I didn't learn to drive till I was in my 30s, and I haven't been driving for the last 2 years because I couldn't afford to buy my car until very, very recently. And before that, I wasn't allowed to use my ex's car. So yeah, I hadn't really driven for nearly 2 years, and now I've only just started driving again, and I'm driving a tiny little toy car. And I'm going to go from that to having to learn to drive a van. So if you're going to be on the road anywhere between Wolverhampton and Loughborough on the day that I'm moving, I am sorry. I'm assuming it'll be okay. It can't be that much different from driving a car probably, but I don't know how to drive on motorways. I've never had to do it, and when I've been going to look at houses and things, I've been avoiding motorways because I don't know how to drive on them. It's crazy. Like, when you do your driving test, you're not allowed to drive on a motorway until you pass your test. And so you pass your test, and suddenly you have to drive on a motorway, but there's different rules for it. And I mean, yes, you learn the rules for the motorway as part of learning to drive, but you don't actually get the experience of driving on the motorway. It's crazy. But yeah, so this week, I am mostly going to be working on my Brita top, which is my Stitch a Library thing. I did the back piece. I want to show you it, just because it's here and it's pretty. There we go. That's the back piece finished. So if you look at yesterday's video, I'll tell you all the stuff for this. But yeah, back piece is done. I've started on the front piece, and then I just need to do the sleeves. And I don't know if I showed you my little bag that I'm keeping it in. This is my bag that my son bought for me when the kids went on holiday. The dad took them to Spain a few weeks ago. At some point during the summer holidays, Dad took them to Spain, and that's what my 12-year-old brought me back. And my 9-year-old brought me back a little skull that's wearing a little Roman centurion helmet, which is awesome. My kids are really good at picking presents. So yeah, that's everything, I think. And the next couple of weeks are just going to be a whirlwind of getting stuff done and packing and moving house and trying to fit in some crafting and playing Warcraft, because that's another thing as well. World of Warcraft new season started last week. The raid opened up, and if you don't know anything about World of Warcraft, none of that means anything to you. It's basically the group content, and you have to like gain certain amounts of gear before you can get in to do this group content. So I've been doing a bit of that, and this week is like there's a certain game mode called Mythic Plus where you do it in like small groups of 5, and you run the content at harder and harder and harder levels, and it's like the competitive side of things, and you get different rewards as you level up through it. So that opens this week on Wednesday, so I'll be doing a bit of that as well. But that's really nice after a whole day of doing brain stuff. Oh, that was the other thing. I tried to get into get my degree. I've still got 2 modules left to do for my degree that I'm doing on Open University, and because I wanted to wait until I moved house, I've ended up missing the deadline. So yeah, there is one of the modules that I can start in February, so I think I'm going to do that, which is a little inconvenient, but what can you do? It's better than not being able to get it done at all. Yeah, I'm quite annoyed with myself for missing the deadline for that. It's because I'm doing it through Open University, so they send you out all the books and all the materials, and I didn't want them being sent to this house if I wasn't going to be here anymore, and I didn't want it in my brain. It would obviously happen where it would be at the crossover time between me changing my address and they've already sent the stuff out or something like that, which would be fine, and they would literally just send me another set of books. And my sensible brain knows that. Unfortunately, sensible brain is not really in charge quite a lot of the time when it comes to this sort of thing. So I was waiting until I'd actually got a house to move to so that I could change my address and get my books sent to the right place. And then I missed the deadline. But it'll be fine. I'll get my 2 modules done. I will finish my degree and everything will be peachy and fine. I'm going to go. It has been half an hour of me waffling, and I'm sorry about the negativity at the beginning, but it's been niggling me, and you know, it annoys me when people are mean and people are just like being keyboard warriors. And this person is obviously someone who lives round about here because they know my ex. I'm not entirely sure how they know me, but I don't know them. That doesn't make sense to me because I know hardly anybody here because, yeah, there's a reason I left. So, yeah, sorry about the negativity at the beginning, but I've got a house and I'm really, really happy about that. So, yeah. I'm going to go and I'll be back next week and hopefully I will see you then. I hope I have time to get some stuff to show you for next week. Oh, that was the other thing. The make-along. The make-along started on Friday. Me and Jenny from Stitchcraft Gifts. I knew there was something else I was going to talk about. Me and Jenny from Stitchcraft Gifts are running a make-along. I've got my Discord linked down below. Jenny has a Ravelry group. It is a Halloween make-along. It's called the Halloween Hat Smile, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a hat, just something you can wear on your head. It does have to be something you can wear on your head, not like a little mini toy hat or something like that. And yeah, you'll get entry for Discord, there'll be an entry for Jen Ravelry. We're going to have a hashtag on Instagram, but because of the way the hashtag works, we're not going to be pulling prizes from Instagram. I do have a video for it somewhere in the past. So yeah, go and check that out as well. And pop on Discord, show me what you're making. Or comment down below, let me know what you're making. Not necessarily just for the mouth, just in general. So yeah, I'm going to go. I'll be back next week. Until then, have a lovely week. And thank you for listening to me waffling. My ADHD squirrel brain has just gone off on a million tangents and I feel like I'm just talking at a million miles an hour. I'm sorry. Right.